Right, nice to meet you.
Okay. Everyone ready? Was the sound better the last time? Perfect. Okay, well, we'll go to the floor for questions.
Ben Bolton, WRBL in Columbus. Are you looking to take a leadership role now that D Ford has moved on to the NFL?
Definitely. Being a senior, I feel like, that should be a top prerogative. Played 3.5 years in this league, going on 4. So I really, like I say, entitled, but I really accept that role. It's not anything that, that I've had to be talked into. This is something that I really enjoy doing. I really enjoy seeing a freshman because I used to be a freshman, and it can be the littlest of things, not having a car, needing to get somewhere. So I really truly embrace it.
Something fun. Sandy Hooper with USA Today Sports. If you could rename the SEC conference, what would you call it?
That's a question or a thought I never thought about. I'll probably keep it the same. I really would.
Hey, Gabe. Chris Price from WBRZ in Baton Rouge. As far as the league is concerned, is there any disappointment over the not being able to win that national championship, carry the mantle for the league, and how much of that is a motivating factor, not just for the program, but also to prove that you guys are still the best league in the country?
I feel like it's a big motivating factor. It's hard to say we're the biggest and best conference around if we, haven't shown it. In history, we have shown it, but in the most recent, I guess we haven't.
Hey, Gabe, Jacques Doucet, WAFB in Baton Rouge. When you're in Jordan-Hare and that place is up and running and packed and roaring, what's it like to play in there? What kind of advantage is that for you guys?
It's really something hard to explain. I've been both on the sideline and had the defense on the field, and I've been the one, amping the crowd up. But honestly, being on that field, it really feels like the fans are out there with you, and really in a sense they are. The thing we like in Jordan-Hare is having an offense, they have to call a timeout. We really enjoy that. So I just want to thank the fans for that again.
Hunter Mandel with Bleacher Report. So we asked C.J. Reese and Coach Malzahn what the craziest thing that happened after the Iron Bowl win last year. What's the craziest thing you witnessed, saw, anything off the field? Like, what was the craziest thing you saw?
Besides the fans rushing the field?
Yeah. They were saying, like, guys threw their ashes on the field and people flying.
I have heard about that. I didn't witness it. I would just say seeing professors, in a classroom setting, on the field hugging me, after the game, that's something I never experienced and wouldn't think I would experience. But, you see crowds rushing the field. It's really a blessing, and it's something that you would never think that you would be a part of. So, War Eagle, War Eagle, War Eagle. That and the fireworks, that's kind of cool too.
Hey, Steve Nissen, WEAR-TV, Pensacola. The scenario coming into this year is so different than the scenario coming into last year. Obviously, last year you used that motivation of coming off a bad season. How is it different this year, coming off the kind of season you had last year, and how does that kind of change your approach or your motivation, maybe?
I believe each team's goal would be to win the national championship, and if you win a national championship, that should take care of your rival and your conference championship. That didn't happen for us. Yes, we went 3-9 the year before, but that doesn't mean our goal changed. The goal is still national championship. We believed in that because the coaches installed it in us, and then we believed in the coaches. So it showed. I think that showed really on the playing field. And saying we lost the national championship, that fire is still there burning. It's up to us to really get it back into a really fiery sensation as last season was.
Mac McAllister, WEAR, Pensacola. I understand, I see that all of you guys are wearing a 43 pin today. Is that another motivation for you guys to go for that 13 seconds that you guys have been talking about today? Is that another added incentive for you guys? Because I see you're honoring him today also.
Absolutely. Lustin Kirkland was really a truly Auburn man, and just seeing the pin, having his number on the back of our helmet, things of that sort, just always knowing he's with us, knowing that he would want to be there, in the locker room, on the field, in Auburn period, but it's definitely a guy that we can take so much from, and using all his many successes as motivation. I don't see it doing anything but positives for this team.
Very back.
Dane Young, WRBL, Columbus. Who is one guy on another team that you really want to get a hard hit on this year?
Besides all the quarterbacks in the SEC, Todd Gurley. He slipped by me. I slipped, and he scored. But I let him have it.
Hey, Gabe, with the new college football playoff, there will be a team from one of the power conferences that wins their conference championship, and they won't play in that 14 playoff. 5 power conferences, 4 playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine a scenario where the SEC champ doesn't get into that mix? And, remember, Auburn was left out of a national title game in 2004.
I could not imagine Auburn winning the SEC championship and then not being invited to the national championship. I couldn't. I really haven't given that much thought into the 14 playoff as you all might imagine, but I will say that would really be frightening if the SEC conference champion isn't rewarded to be in the playoff or, for that matter, in the national championship.
Hey, Rebecca Nesbitt, WIAT. Being on the Outland and Nagurski watch list, do you feel like there's an added pressure to play to a higher standard this season?
It may be an added pressure, but it's something I really embrace. I think that's what my mother installed in me. There will be pressures, that I am faced with, but I was raised to face them and nip it in the bud, and I accept it. Best thing I had happen to me was my coach called and texted me, and I remember actually I think before the national championship I got put on honorable mention for the SEC, and my coach said, you don't look happy. And I said, well, it's just honorable mention. He said, what were you last year? I said, yeah, you're right, because I wasn't anything. So, it is just that. It is just a watch list. So, but I do accept that, and it really is an honor, and I treat it as so.
Vanessa Casal, Bleacher Report. Your teammates mentioned how much fun you guys have with Coach Malzahn. What's the funniest moment you've had with him?
There's been a lot. After Texas A&M, that's when I could say something I truly never experienced. The head coach celebrating with his players, jumping around. I'm sure you see it all the time, but Texas A&M was a huge win that we wanted very bad, and getting that, seeing the smile on his face, I really would say it would be the turnaround, of the whole last season. So just seeing his face and all the coaches' face and seeing how happy they were, I would say that would be the moment.
Kim Smith with WTVM in Columbus. Back here, Gabe. Hey, just you talked about this being your final season. Has it been a blur from Carver to here in your senior year? And then also talk about that defensive line and just the outlook on this season. I know you guys losing Nosa, but just the outlook on that line this year.
It has all been a blur. As I was saying about being a senior, I have to talk to freshmen. I was just in their shoes per se. But and as far as losing seniors, thing about Nosa was really a guy who I would say would be kind of on Lux's stage. I won't say anyone was above each other, but just representative of being an Auburn man. It's a time I don't know what Nosa's schedule was, and my car had broke down, and I asked him could he come push it. I actually asked many people could they come help me push it out the road. Nosa was the only one that agreed to, and he was great at doing it. I do drive a Tahoe, and it was really heavy. I was the one driving. He was pushing. So, but in saying that, it can be Nosa's a guy who's really, I could say, was a true leader, and he will be missed in and out, both on and off the field. But he's entailed enough in us, to be able to lead now. I would say he definitely passed the torch well.
In the first half of last year's LSU game, I don't think many people said that team's going to the national championship. Can you talk about how that game sparked you, and then you get to host LSU this year in early October?
That halftime of LSU, I remember Coach Malzahn speaking, but I really appreciate him noticing the players wanting to speak Trey got up and spoke, Trey Mason, and I think that just really just turned everything around. That loss, or that second half, I would say, really showed what we can do. You know, if we didn't have that confidence yet, it really showed this team can compete. And that's what we did, you know, furthermore for the rest of the season. That would be, for a loss, you know, one of the biggest sparks beside beating Texas A&M last season.
Describe the moment when Chris Davis scored the game-winning touchdown in the Iron Bowl.
I'm surprised I didn't answer with that when you asked me that question. I have never seen or heard of anything of that nature, scoring on a field goal, on a missed field goal. I believe it probably happened before, but I don't really know. I know what I did was take a knee and just thank God, you know, because that's really all I could do. From Chris Davis' standpoint, as a lot of you may not know, he couldn't breathe underneath the pile of players that jumped on him after he scored. He just ran 106 yards, and the whole team jumped on him. So he almost, you know, we almost lost him out there.
With the way that you guys won games last year and the success that you've had, how much does that help as this Auburn program continues to build under Coach Malzahn?
I could say, I say it can't do anything but help. Coming from 3-9, there's a saying, when you're at the top, the only place you can go is down. When you're at the bottom, the only place you can go is up, right? So coming from 3-9, I think it really puts it on the players. The coaches can come in and really only do so much. So I equate a lot of successes to the coaches, but the same thanks goes to the players.
Gabe, Sheldon Haygood, Fox 6 out of Birmingham. So close last year. What does it take, or what do you think it takes to get one more win, or in this case, 2 more wins?
What does it take? And everything we do takes 13 seconds more, you know, whether that's 13 more reps you have to take doing something, 13 seconds faster in some drill. It's really hard to say where it went wrong or what made us lose the game. You know, that's something I won't get into. But I know in playing on the biggest stage in the biggest game, winning or losing, it may sound really crazy, but losing may make the next season that much easier. When you win, you know, you've won. To be able to do it all over again I would ask that winner, what's your motivation now? You've done it. Losing it, the motivation, that fire is still there, it's still burning, and that's definitely what we use. That's the whole reason for the 13 seconds, just to remember.
Gabe, I heard you mention Todd Gurley earlier. You guys are also going to face Davis from South Carolina, Fournette and McGee from LSU, all those great Bama running backs. Do you feel like this year, is it more the year of the running back, and what does that mean for you as a defensive lineman?
If it's a year for the running back, then it may be a year for defensive tackles as well. That's what I say. I don't know if I should address it more seriously, or is that okay with you? I believe this league always has talented guys. I believe Auburn has some talented guys as well. So being able to practice against those guys, we know with great feet work, power, you know, that only can make it easier for us come on Saturday.
Gabe, Jeff Shear, WSFA Montgomery. Auburn won a lot of shootouts last year where you've scored 50 or gave up 40. How much better are you hoping and expecting this defense to be, knowing you're going to be without one of your better linemen, Carl, for the first part of the year at least?
That's one of the things we really want to help build on this team, or defensively wise, we want to be more consistent. We really do. We were good on third down and short yardage for a long part, and it's shown. Carl made a big play against Bama on fourth down and short. So he's definitely gonna be missed. He's a talented guy. I see him as being a future phenom, but his body was in great shape, before the injury took place. So I feel like he'll bounce back, and I know he's working hard right now.
Gabe, there's been some talk of a stipend or an allowance for student athletes. You're near the end of your career, so doesn't necessarily, but you've lived through what student athletes go through. Is that something that needs to be done, or you think enough is enough getting your education taken care of?
There's two ways I can answer it. I'm not going to say I'm 100% not for getting more money, but I only have 1 year left. So if that was allowed, I wouldn't be seeing that rule occur when I'm in school. But secondly, I think once this food plan occurs on August 1st, I think that would take a lot of players, ease a lot of players' mind. Food is something I think a lot of players spend a lot of money on, which is maybe a disbelief considering that we do get fed. But I think once that goes into effect, a lot of players would really just kind of hush up about it more.
Gabe, a couple of incidents this summer involving Mincy and Marshall and involving marijuana. A player from one of our state's major D1 schools told us it's fair to say at least half of the scholarship players get high 3 days a week, and that 25% get high every day. As a team leader, looking at what you see, do you see that at Auburn, and how do you keep that from becoming an issue at Auburn?
That's definitely not at Auburn University. How do I see it? As being a senior leader, I can only address the matter. I'm not the one who hand down consequences, but what I can do is address what happened with Nick and address what happened with Mincy. And if I had an issue occur with myself, I would want somebody to come talk to me and, learn, of course, what matters to take place in order so that mishap doesn't occur again. I'm not the type of guy who likes a guy coming down hard on me unless it is a boss such as a coach. That's fine, but I don't like me personally, I'm not the type of guy who would like someone to confront me too serious, so I'm not going to do that. I know there's other seniors who will handle that and address it accordingly, but I would just be there as more of a friend and know that, I guess, in a sense, we were all in that car with him because we were. Not physically, but what happens to him really all hurts us and really happens to us. Nick knows that. Jonathan knows that. Both of them guys have been very remorseful, and really it was good to just get back to working out and what we do daily today.
Last question in the back.
Gabe, what's a tradition, maybe something that other fans do from another team that really annoys you?
Other fans? Just yell inexplicably cruel and unusual things at me and my teammates and my coaches. I mean, he could be sitting there coaching me. It could be the greatest speech in the world, and you just hear the weirdest thing behind you from a fan, and it just really just takes your focus off. And so I would say that, and it happens everywhere.
Okay, Gabe, thank you for your time.
Thank y'all.